Hi, this is Family DynamiKs with the Killmonds. I'm Katherine.
I'm Liz.
And today we are doing an episode with sisters. So I am the oldest of 4 sisters, and Liz is
I'm not the oldest. I'm the second.
And we have with us our 2 other sisters. So there's 4 of us all together. So
Correct. Out of 8 siblings.
Out of 8 siblings, there's 4 girls. We were all in a row. So it's 2 boys, 4 girls, 2 boys. So we have with us Rosemary and Virginia.
Hello.
So let's do a little round table. So I'm Katherine. I'm the oldest of the girls. And then go ahead, Liz.
I'm Liz, Killmond Roman with a K, like Family DynamiKs with a K. And I am the 4th child, second daughter.
I'm Rosemary, and I'm the 3rd girl, 5th child out of 8. I remember Mom always saying like the 5th child was such a special position, and I was like, why? And later I thought, why? And I was like, you know why? Because you're still having children. Like, that's an amazing thing that I'm the 5th child and the 3rd sister.
And we sort of share the middle position.
Yeah, the middle position. Okay. Yeah.
And I'm Virginia. My family usually calls me Gigi or Ginny. And I'm the youngest of the 4 girls.
Yes. And so we have 2 older brothers. Then there's the 4 girls all in a row and 2 more younger brothers.
Right. So I think what's interesting, let's give everybody a little thumbnail of sort of where we are in our lives. I'm married. I have 2 kids who are a little older, in their, almost 20s, 18 and 20.
God, that's crazy.
I work full time and do this. Okay. Anyway, Liz, go.
Yeah, so I'm married as well. Only have 1 child, a little 13-year-old. So we're right, son. We're right in high hormone level. Yesterday I took him to a doctor's appointment, and he asked the doctor, "Are you going to examine my prostate?" I mean,
Nice.
I was like, and the
God.
doctor was like, "Wait, what did you just say?" And then later that night, he's like, "Oh my gosh, don't tell anybody. I now know what I was asking." I go,
Good. Okay, so you're not going to tell
he's like,
anybody.
I didn't tell
colonoscopy.
anybody exactly. Right.
You didn't tell anybody.
I've been
Perfect.
married for, almost 23 or 24 years. I always get it wrong, but a lot of years.
Didn't we all get married like one after another?
Oh, our poor parents, we kind of were stackable, right? We kind of were like boom, 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 almost in a 4 to 5 year period.
I think I'm at 24 or 25. Again, can't remember. And then you were like the next year. And then maybe there was a teeny gap between Rosie and Ginny, but I can't remember. Okay, so
Not much.
Rosie, give everybody a little update on
Your background.
your situation.
So, yeah, I'm married, and me and my husband build homes, and I'm also an at-home mom. And not so much anymore. I mean, I have like a boy who's in college, who's 19, and a junior in high school, he's 17. And, so I have 2 boys, a husband, 2 dogs.
That's a lot of work.
That's a lot. The dogs are the most amount of work. I was like, gosh, since the boys have stopped, being in like soccer and, just being at the park every day now.
And more independent.
Yeah. It's like there's no dirt produced by anyone in the house but the dogs. It's like, I was like, why do we have dogs? They're just like, literally, I'm cleaning up after dogs.
But your husband loves dogs.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true. But one of them almost killed him the other day.
What happened?
He flew down the entire flight of stairs.
How? The dog was involved?
Because he was, our dog is kind of elderly, but not totally elderly. But he can't really get up and down the stairs by himself, like all the time.
Which dog is this?
Astro.
Mm-hmm.
So Kirk decided he was going to escort him down the stairs. And he was wearing socks. Kirk was wearing socks, which we've said never socks on the stairs.
And are they hardwood?
They're hardwood stairs, and they're like curved stairway, and it's very long. And
it kind of looks like out of a soap opera. Very
yes,
dramatic.
It's very dramatic. It's got the pie-shaped stairs, so it's like wider on the outside.
I wouldn't have even known that's what that was called.
Yeah, exactly. At the top, like a soap
It's
opera
a
actress,
European
like,
design.
Get out! And then all of a sudden you tumble down the hole.
I know. It's totally like that. So I was in my room, and all of a sudden I hear this, bah, 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 like it went on for 10 minutes. And then all of a sudden I come out, and there's Kirk like splayed on the bottom of the stairs, face down,
Astro!
not moving. And Astro's like, hey. And I'm like, Which I was kind of like, oh, if Kirk's hurt, that dog is gone. Like, this is finally the reason. And he's like, am I okay? I think I'm okay. I'm
Oh, he
like,
was in shock. He couldn't move for a moment, probably.
Yeah. And we were both like, oh my God, he was totally fine. But
Okay,
yeah.
so the dogs
So anyways,
are the
I have
worst.
dogs.
We all have dogs,
sons.
actually, now that I think about
Oh
it.
God, I forget
We all
that I have
have
a dog.
dogs,
Okay,
yeah.
so
Which is
Ginny,
weird
give us
'cause,
your
like,
little
dogs.
thumbnail so that we've officially introduced everybody. Ginny, go.
So we did go in order getting married, which I think is.
Oh, that is kind of
And
interesting.
I always tell people we were all kind of cliches because Catherine married the guy from work,
Oh yeah.
right? So you met a guy at work. Liz, the boy next door, 2 doors down.
Yeah.
Rosie was a setup,
Yep.
which is amazing. And I met at the gym.
That is
we did
funny.
it.
I
It was
hadn't
funny.
even really
The
thought
only
of
thing
that.
never
missing
thought
was
of
like
that.
an online, like meeting someone through an app or something.
And
I don't think that was very prevalent
really
when we
a
were
thing yet.
dating.
it's not totally age us,
Oh,
date
okay.
us.
okay,
but
and as
true.
Liz would say, knock on wood, we are all married,
Yeah.
no widowed or divorced.
Yep.
So blessed and proud of us. So yeah, I went back to school, got my MBA, loved working. And then when I had my first baby, I found a nanny, was going to pump at work and everything. And then I just couldn't do it. So I figured we would just make one income work. And we did. And we had another baby. So we have 2 girls, the youngest of the cousins.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And they are still full time keeping me busy, driving
Oh,
them
yeah.
to soccer, martial arts, tantrums, growing pains, mess. I mean, you know, I kept Christmas break, I kept singing that little tune. Mom and Dad can hardly wait for school to start again.
Yeah,
And I was like, oh my God, the homeschooling was a nightmare
Oh.
too. That was a nightmare.
Yeah.
But
And dogs. You also have dogs.
2 dogs. Yeah, over COVID, we got a second dog, a hamster, 3 hermit crabs, and another hamster. I knew the second those hermit crabs came in the door, which my husband and the girls got them. I was like, those are going on
Wait,
Craigslist
like-
at some point. Yeah, they went on Craigslist.
Wait, a hermit
They did.
crab
We
gets
sold them a
brought
couple
from
months
the beach
later.
or something? What is a
No, you
hermit?
get them at Petco. They're
And
like,
you could
But you
sell
could,
them?
take, you could go
Why?
find them at the beach, right?
oh,
And you could
I don't
sell a
know.
hermit
Isn't
crab?
that a hermit crab?
I don't know why.
I don't know. I mean, obviously.
Gross.
We were just home, bored, and I guess pets was the thing to do. And Morgan, my older daughter, she asked me, Mom, look how cute. Can we get a hermit crab? And I was like, I don't know. Ask your dad. The next thing I know, like 2 hours later, they walk in with a tank and 3 hermit crabs they've named. Ron,
What do they do?
Bobby, and Ricotta.
What?
yeah, ricotta.
Hey, where did ricotta come from?
Ricotta, I think Brian named, Bobby, Lauren named, and Ron, of course, Morgan from Harry Potter. But yeah, we
There
found
wasn't
them a
Dobby,
really good
because
home.
isn't Dobby like her jam?
Yeah, a few months later, because they're kind of stinky and boring. A few months later, we put them on Craigslist and found them a good home. You know, so
I am shocked by that.
Obviously,
Who
hermit
the
crabs
hell
deserve a
looks
good
on
home. I mean,
Craigslist
I
for
don't
hermit
like
crab.
what.
I always like animals that I can cuddle. So it's like,
No.
or something. I mean, remember I had the little hamster that I loved. When it came to its name was
Bill.
Pussy originally.
Oh no, it was
Yes,
not.
it was.
Oh,
And I
no.
said my 8-year-old son cannot be calling
Oh,
his
my
hamster
God.
Pussy. So then I didn't even tell Ethan that, and I just said, "All right, well, what are you going to name? What are you going to name your hamster?" And at first he was like, "Oh, I want to name it Ratty," and I'm like, "You can't name a hamster Ratty."
But it is kind of ratty.
Doesn't have a long tail.
Yeah, and then he
Ew.
finally was like, "Fine, let's just call it Bill." Like the most generic
Bill.
name, Bill.
Okay.
And I did love little Bill, but
Oh, Bill.
we've
Uh-oh,
always just
why?
had
What
dogs.
Was Bill
Did-
the first
did I
one?
miss? What happened to Bill?
Oh my
Because
God.
hamsters have a very
Oh,
short
yes.
life. You don't realize that they really
Is
are
it
only
like a year or like
It's like-
2.
It's max 2 years. But I remember when Bill died because he called us and he was like, "Can you put it on speakerphone?"
No.
And I think it was like,
Ethan did.
yes, you were there. Like you must
Oh,
have
yeah.
been there to like call us. And we're all like sitting there and he's like, Bill died today. And all of us were like sitting on the phone like, like trying not to laugh because it was like
You're
kind
so
of
dramatic.
ridiculous.
Gonna cremate him.
You know, it's like, but that was probably his first experience with death. so.
Yes, I think so. I mean, unlike our childhood, where because I don't have cats. None of us have cats, ironically.
No, nobody.
I
Although
want a
I feel
cat.
like we do have a dog, but I feel like we would be better with cats because nobody really likes to walk the dog at my house. Oh, you know what we should do? we should officially name husbands and children just because
Oh,
we'll
right.
reference them a bunch.
Oh, yeah.
So my husband's name is Eric, and as Ginny said, I did meet him at work, and our 2 kids are Sarah and Adam in that order. Okay.
And Sarah is my goddaughter. So my husband's name is Mark, who I have known since about kindergarten. He was in Rosemary's kindergarten class. That's how I met him.
So he's a younger man.
Yes, I married a younger
You're
man.
both married to
I know.
younger men.
My Eric is a year.
That's why our marriages are so hot. Not by much, though. I mean, at one point,
Eric is like I think
downplay
exactly a year younger.
Yeah, I think Mark and I
Or
are
close.
18 months. I almost keep saying Ethan. So Ethan is my son's name, and he's a 13-year-old. So there you go.
Okay, Rosie, you're.
I'm married to Kirk, and he is not younger. And I have Jack. I think I already introduced my sons. Yeah.
You did, but you didn't,
I didn't
say
their names.
Yeah.
Okay. Jack is my older son who's in college. He goes to the University of Utah. And Luke is my younger son, and he's in high school.
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect. Jen, just
So my husband's Brian. We're the same age. And my older daughter is 12, so very close to Ethan, and she's Morgan. Mm-hmm. And my younger daughter, they're 4 years apart. We waited for a while, is Lauren. So she's the youngest. She's 7.
And it's so interesting to me. I don't think I knew you and Brian were the same age.
I didn't know that either.
Well, I mean, his birthday's April and mine's November, but we're the same year.
Yeah.
I don't think I knew
I
that.
know. I kind of wish he was a little older, but.
No, you don't.
No, we're the same age.
Our parents were 10 years apart, and that's about the gap I think you could do. But it is still,
It's still not good statistically. Women outlive men by,
True.
10 years anyways. So
yeah, I always say to Rosemary, like, oh, I'll have we'll have our widow's cottage together. And
I think it'll be with Mark.
Yeah, okay, hold on.
Well-
This is a perfect time to talk about, you two are going to have a widow's cottage together because you two are BFFs. Of the 4 of us, that's what we think is so interesting about having 4 sisters. We all definitely get along.
and we live close, very close to each other.
We
as
do.
well, too.
And, we're in each other's lives, but not everyone is as close as, so all the relationships are slightly different.
Well, this is what's interesting. Okay, so you and this is our production company, Knack Entertainment.
Correct.
So you and I
Yeah.
have been business partners on and off, creative partners. We've co-authored some books together. We write screenplays together with 2 of our other siblings. So we've worked together on and off like for 20 years together.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that another time. There were breaks.
There were breaks, and it that was also highlighted how different we are as people and how
Lord.
differently we approach things, which can be an asset because we have
Which we did not understand when we were younger.
we bring very different things to the table, and once we realize like, oh no, that's your strong suit, do that.
So we spent a lot of time together that way. And then Virginia and I, our kids go to the same school together. Or do you want to be called Gigi or Ginny, or what in this format would you like to be called?
Just whatever comes naturally. That's what I always tell people. Whatever you want to call me is fine with me.
I see Gigi and, well, I think I call you all 3. It just depends. But
Yeah,
not
true.
to confuse you, Virginia. So our kids go to the same school together and are very close. I always say Ethan because he's an only child. Morgan and Lauren are like little sisters to him. Where Rosemary's kids, Jack and Luke, he's like the younger brother who gets teased and tortured by, especially Luke. But so that's
He's always a perfect angel at my house. He's like my helper.
Oh yeah, yours great Aunt Gigi. So Ginny and I have this dynamic of where we're in the same church, in the same school, so we kind of cross paths all the time with that. But girl mom, boy mom, there's still that dynamic. And then Rosie and I don't know. I mean, I feel like we've always been like really great friends, but then the last 20 years we've become more.
Yeah, I think we even shared friends like in high school.
Yeah.
And
Because she was really hot young, which was a great asset as an older
she
sister. Like, do you wanna
included
come to the
me
party
in her
with me?
social life, which was very generous of her, which I know that I didn't do with my sister, my younger sister, Virginia.
And Katherine definitely did not do it with me.
Well, I did it with Virginia once she was in college, I think. Like, that's when the dynamic changed.
But I was much younger than you, kind of in those.
Yeah.
Those
And she
young high
was,
school
she
years.
was
What
into different
what was
stuff.
the high school like gap? How many years? Because you weren't all there at the same time.
No.
The biggest overlap was Liz and Rosie together.
Well,
in
this
high
is what's
school.
interesting because we all
And I went to a completely different school,
Right.
which did in fact foster. I don't even really think of myself as the older sister in a lot of ways, but I am sort of separated. But that's more, I don't mean to like be self-critical, but that is more of a personality thing. I'm not terribly need like a lot of social interaction or intimacy of like friendship. I can like be alone for a long time. So I think growing up also, I definitely was like, they are younger. I don't need to deal with them. Do not borrow my clothes. Get out of my way. I mean, like, and I was kind of terrible. But, I mean, that's also part of why you two ended up being closer because you couldn't, I was not receptive to Liz being like,
oh my God, you were horrible receptive. But also, so we all went to the same grade school.
I know, receptive sounded nicer.
We all went to the same grade school, but then our father ended up teaching at one of the high schools. And back then, what a perk, it was free tuition for your kids. Yeah. So it wasn't like you really had a choice. You were going to that high school.
Yeah.
And then by the time, 2 years later, that I was going to high school, I thought I was going to have to go to the high school as well. So I went to summer school there.
Oh my God, I forgot you did.
You did not drive me. I just take the bus.
Took the bus.
I didn't have okay, first of all, there's no way I could have driven you because I didn't get a license until I was 18 and didn't get a car until I was in college. So, I mean, like,
right, you took the bus by yourself at 13.
I took the bus to high school.
Like, you actually think about that now.
It's crazy.
I don't know how many people would send, a girl on the bus. It was
alone.
A public transportation.
At 8 a.m. for sure.
At 8 a.m.
Earlier.
And it was about a half an hour to 40-minute bus ride because they had 1,000 stops. Yeah.
Well, was it up at the far campus or the closer?
I think
it's the far campus.
We were on the same campus, and you were taking summer school, and you had friends that would pick you up, and that's where I couldn't get in on. I couldn't get in on the carpool.
I don't remember any of this.
And going back to borrowing clothes, I just remember being on campus one day, and I was a slob. I did not keep my stuff together as a kid, so it was like rushing to get dressed, rushing to get to the bus, and I threw on one of your shirts. And it was like out of a movie. I was like, I knew nobody at that summer school. So I'm sort of standing there by myself. And around the corner comes a gang of girls led by you.
This is not true.
100%.
It's so true. I remember this. She was traumatized.
This.
Wait, were you guys sharing a room at that point? How did
Who
you
knows?
even happen upon her shirt? I mean, like what? Because I feel like at that age we were sharing a room still, which was hell on earth. But yeah, it's like how close we are. Living with Liz, she was a slob.
Me with your parakeets.
Oh, that's true.
Yes.
I mean, I shared a room with you also.
Yeah, we also
Katherine.
switched rooms a lot.
Catherine was like a second.
And our parents never gave a shit who was sharing rooms or painting them in the middle of the summer. Like,
no, they also.
I was the only one who painted my room.
What? I painted that pink catastrophe.
Well, I would recruit people to paint. We are really getting off on a tangent.
No, but I do want to say just about rooms. I think it was our parents' approach to redistribute people so that like if you two had been fighting, they just like split you up and put you with someone else.
Well, like I said, the family dynamic
that made sense.
Always changed. So I'm staying on the campus.
We're going back to that. Okay.
Yes, in this shirt.
I remember this happening at church once. I don't remember this.
I think
school
you did it to
story.
me multiple times.
Well,
so
then
you
you
walked
shouldn't
up
have
to me,
taken my
backed
shirt.
up by what
It's true.
felt like a huge gang of girls. It might have been just two, whatever. But you came up to me and you said, "Is that my shirt?" And I said, "Yes." And you're like, "Take it off."
No, that happened at
Take it
church
off?
for sure.
Oh my God.
This also happened at the school. Take it off. And I'm like, "What? What do you mean take it off?" You're like, "It's not your shirt. Take it off." And your friends were like chewing gum and bopping their heads.
This is not true. This is
What did you have underneath it? Like what?
nothing. No,
Did you take it off?
I probably like a tankini or something.
Well, in those days, maybe she had a sweatshirt tied around her waist.
I don't get anything. I looked at you and I ran for my life. And then I just ran away. I ran away.
Okay, because you're not going to meet her up at home or something and have.
No, and I think I got home and like took it off and mom had no interest in getting involved in that clothes drama.
She was like, "Work it out."
Dad would get so pissed off if we got in the clothes drama. He would just take all of our clothes and throw them in the backyard or throw them out on the front street. He'd
out the window.
Yeah, out the window. He's like, "You care so much about these clothes?" And they're all out the window. It's like, oh
my God. By the time I came along, number 4, he had it. So by age 11 and 12, I was getting the pre-lectures. I will not deal with another, teenage problem, whatever his thing was. But he was not up for another difficult teenager.
No, because by the time we were in high school, so Katherine went to a different high school. And then by this time, our father was no longer teaching at that high school. And I was able to go to the high school of my choice, which our grade school, pretty much everybody went to this all-girls high school.
Yeah.
So I was able to go to that. And 2 years later, Rosie followed me. I graduated 2 years after that. Virginia followed her. So the three of us went to the same high school and had that sort of shared experience. But Rosie, like I said, I mean,
But Ginny was never there when you were there.
no,
Okay.
but she did plays with me there. Like she did some of the musical theater with me there.
Oh, like-
Ginny and I actually, when we were younger, we were more similar in personality. Very social, had a huge group of girlfriends. Rosie had like 2 girlfriends. I had like 25. Virginia had a lot of friends.
Yeah, but then Rosemary was able to be part of your group as well.
Well, I think, Liz, you've always liked having a partner in crime. So Rosie was a good person for you to bring along. And then you were a very sweet sister to me. We weren't friends like that, but you were like an older sister where it's like, oh, you bring flowers to my volleyball game, or,
that's nice.
the play, I wouldn't have known about the play. I was in grammar school, but they needed some younger kids in the play. So you had me and some friends come. That was fun. And you were always sweet to me while I was there.
Aw, that's nice.
You had me visit you up at college when you went to college.
Oh my God.
Dad let us take the train up there, me and a
That was
girlfriend.
inappropriate.
Were we?
Drinking, yes. Whoops.
No, not
I
that.
just said inappropriate before
But I'm
you
like,
even
we're-
said that, but I'm
we
sure
were
she
probably
was.
freshmen in high school,
Oh,
maybe.
God.
And Dad's like, "Oh, go check out, UC Santa Barbara."
Oh God.
Oh, jeez.
Well, that was a different era. Yes,
I
exactly.
mean, we were like in braces. It's like we were not blending in. I don't think. I think
You were passing as a 21-year-old.
Oh, God.
No, no. I think I threw a party to get around. I'm like, I'll throw a party so you can meet all my friends here at my apartment.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, the thing was, Rosie and I, if she was a freshman, I was a junior.
Right.
And then sophomore, senior. And really by Rosemary's sophomore year, it was like the boobs came in and the braces came off. And I was like, you are a huge asset to go out with. So it was like, come on. And my girlfriend, one of my really good girlfriends, Tara, like loved Rosemary. So they almost had their own relationship. She would
Yeah,
go out
we
with
did,
Tara a lot. So that made it easy. But I was never at high school at the same time as Virginia. No. And then even though you and I were pretty much the same spread of a 2-year in high school,
Yeah.
we really did not share any high school experiences together.
No. I mean, well, and that also, being at a totally different school, which, your dad is a teacher and drives you to school. I mean,
In a horrible car.
Well, yeah.
Oh,
The
my
first
God.
year I took the bus, so I had to be out to catch the bus at like 6:45 in the morning. It's like, good
Wait,
Lord, it was
why?
fucking
When
horrible.
Dad was teaching?
Because
there?
they had a split campus, so it was like one campus was super far, which was the first. So it was 7th, 8th, and 9th. So I had to go there for 9th grade. And then transferred to the
I don't think I
upper
ever knew
campus,
that.
as they called it. Yeah. And so sophomore year, he drove me to school every day
In one of his horrible
like
cars.
one of his real jalopy type of cars. I don't even know if that's like a word that you could say, but it just was like, ooh, piece of garbage. Anyway, so you come on campus and you already have this like weird vibe that you're like the teacher's kid,
And Dad taught speech.
he taught speech
Drama.
and not drama. He taught English,
Oh.
but they did do Shakespeare in that
Which
class
was
as
so
well.
interesting because our dad, why our parents, well, primarily our father, moved from the East Coast to the West Coast was acting and the entertainment industry. Our father always acted, always had bit parts in movies, and was on a soap opera the last almost 10 years of his life.
Yeah, I think it might have started the job of General Hospital may have started during my freshman year, but definitely my sophomore year, and then by junior year, it kind of had blossomed into like a big enough role that he ended up. I don't know if he was let go from teaching or
Oh,
whatever.
I think he made the choice.
or something. So anyway, he was there my sophomore year. I can't remember if he was there. I feel like he was there junior year, but I can't remember now because my friend Brooke was driving me to school, so I didn't have to drive with him every day.
Cool.
So I know. Yeah, but General Hospital kind of took over his work life, and so he wasn't really teaching anymore.
Because I remember Rosie and I were in grade school, and I think Dad went to go and audition.
Yeah,
we
we
were
sat
in
in
the
the
car.
car. Mhm.
Yeah, it was very.
Well, it's funny because
typical.
I do remember. Just side note, when he was like, "Oh, I'm doing a day on General Hospital as the butler."
No, he initially was a spy as a butler, planting a
No,
bus.
No,
no.
initially he was
Later.
just that's when they added to
That
his
was
role.
that was the development much later.
Oh, he had a story arc. I love it.
Yeah, no, he absolutely but the very first episode, he was just like innocuous butler working in the Quartermain mansion. I was like, I was aware of General Hospital. I'm like, the Quartermains.
Of course,
I'm like,
Luke and Laura and all that stuff. We weren't allowed to really watch them.
yeah, no, we weren't supposed to watch TV at all. But I definitely was like, if you're in the house and you work for them, you're going to be on more than once. This doesn't make any sense for you to have one episode. He was like, what? I'm like, no, they're like the big family of the show.
The Quartermains.
Yeah. Anyway, but then it did turn out, it went from like he had 1 day a month to like 1 day a week to 2 days a week to 3 days.
It was awesome because
yeah, he loved it.
But he always acted the entire time we were growing up, whether it be theater, bit parts.
Yeah, he's a working actor.
Yeah, so it was a very interesting childhood because of that in some ways.
Yeah, but I would say just going to a different high school was also sort of like that separation between me being older and not interested in my younger siblings. And then also
you would barely ever drive us anywhere. I remember you had that little convertible black Datsun.
That
What
wasn't
was it?
until like
that
college.
was like college.
Well, I was in high school, and I remember you were home for summer, and there was a party off of the street called Wells. Now, back then, you didn't have MapQuest, so it was sort of like...
MapQuest is even dated.
Waze. So,
No, you had the Thomas guide, basically. If anyone even
You had
knows
like
what
word
that
of
is.
mouth. How do you get there?
That's exactly word of mouth in the general area. And so,
Hopefully somebody left it on your answering machine and
God.
you try and jot it down.
right, there's no pinning locations. And I asked you to drive me, and let's just say I couldn't find the party, and you basically just pulled over and told me to get out of the car.
What? Okay.
Yes.
I just like it.
No, you guys were not cool about driving. Like, William was horrible
Our
about
older brother, yeah.
driving us anywhere. And so
You
was
just didn't
James.
ask him. But I got
mean, if
my...
you did, I'm like, can someone pick me up from the mall at 10 o'clock when I get off work? No. Oh, okay. I guess I'll just walk like 7 miles home in the dark. I'm like, what?
Well, I always say that I think we got closest, the four of us, because we went to 2 funerals, both of our grandmothers, out of town, and we stayed in a hotel
Oh
room
my God,
together.
Yeah,
So that
All
was
4 of us in
super
one room.
fun. And then we had the back-to-back weddings, starting with Katherine, where it was like we, had a bridal shower and
And we were always each other's bridesmaids. We didn't
Yeah.
bother adding friends because it would have gotten too crazy. And it was just like, well, let's just do the sisters.
so that
Yeah.
really brought the 4 of us together as more kind of adults. I was still a little younger.
Well, and I think even just,
Funerals and weddings.
growing up and just being like, at more mature and just being like, oh, let's be friends. I mean, I think age kind of makes things easier.
Yeah, but we do have an interesting, it can be, at times it's, Rosie and I socialize a lot together.
Yeah, for sure.
And there'll be times I'll be like, okay, like, not invite you two. And that is an odd.
It's okay.
Yeah, but it is weird. Sometimes I think, but there's a reason because I become friends with Rosie's friends. So like we'll go on a wine weekend. I crashed it like years ago. I was like, oh, can I come? Because someone had dropped out. And she's like, yeah, okay. And believe me, those girls are kind of, 2 of them are pretty possessive of Rosemary. So when I showed up, it was like, who is this?
I know, yeah.
Get out. Like 2 of them were like legit annoyed. Like,
Well, and I think also
It's like we were supposed to be sharing a room and now you brought your sister. Yeah.
and I'm
think
like, I'm not
also-
sharing a room with a stranger.
people don't always like, definitely there are lots of people who don't get along with their siblings.
No,
So
there's
it's-
whole sisters kill each other. I mean, there's whole like
the idea that you could
crimes
be
about
that
it.
close with your sister is both like a strange concept to some people, but also intimidating. Like, oh, you're going to come in here. You're more important than the friends because it's the sister. It's like, oh shit, the sister's here. Uh-oh. Yeah. So, you crashing the wine weekend, which also like you have a much more high social activity. So it just even is funny that it's like, oh, I don't have anything to do. You're doing a wine weekend? Oh, I need to come
I'd
to
be
that.
like, oh, I have nothing to do. How
Love
wonderful.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. Well, and then for Ginny, it's funny because we are at the same school, but because I work, we have our production company and I manage projects and all different types of things sort of in entertainment and production. I'm not really involved with the school. So Virginia has this whole school life and with these school moms and, I'll see pictures and I'm like, oh gosh, that's so cool. She has this whole group of like moms from school, which I was talking to my girlfriends about the other night. I said, yeah, I've never really gotten in any clique at school with moms, not for any reason. I just, I'm even friends with a few of them, and Facebook can give you FOMO or give you like, oh my gosh, like, because Rosie, you're not even on social media.
No. Mm-mm.
Ginny, yeah, you're very active on Facebook.
I love Facebook.
I know.
I love seeing what people are up to. I don't have FOMO at all.
No, I
love seeing it.
No, I love it, but there are times you can look at like, oh, why wasn't I even thought of or invited to that? And Mark's was like, God, can you really take any more on? And I'm like,
yeah, I'm like looking at a photo of a book club, and I'm like, that book club looks plenty big, and that's fine that I'm not part of it. Like, they don't have room for like 20 more moms.
And you're on Facebook and a couple of things too, Katherine, right?
Yeah, I do Facebook, but I'm one of those, like, I hardly ever post.
You do
I do a lot of liking.
I appreciate all your likes.
I just want to encourage people and let them know that I'm seeing and enjoying and whatever. But I personally don't post a lot because I don't know.
You could. You have so many cute pictures of Adam. When you show them to me, I'm like, why didn't you text this to me?
But
I put this on Facebook.
It's a weird
like
thing.
Adam working at a coffee shop. That was Facebook worthy.
Oh, that was so sweet.
But I have to tag Rosemary's husband if I post something.
True.
Yeah, because he has Facebook.
Then you'll know to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're so
I'm
mysterious.
just like not really that interested in other people's lives. And you know what the other thing too is, like, I just really don't give a shit to share that much about myself either. Like, I don't want to go and be like, here's my husband and me, we love each other. I hate when people do that, when they post a picture of their husband and themselves,
don't be a hater.
and
Don't be a
then
hater.
do a whole diatribe of like how much they love each other and been through and blah blah. blah.
Literally everybody does that,
Share it
Rosemary.
with each other. Like, I don't need to hear that shit. So that's why I'm not on it. It's probably
It's
because
not
I don't.
your vibe.
And you know what?
Well,
Anybody
I
really
scroll past it. I'm
Okay,
not going to
but
read her
anybody I
personal
really
diary,
care
but I'm
about-
fine with her doing it. whoever she
anybody I
is.
really care about or like love or want to hear from, they will pick up the phone and call me or text me. I love that I go to a high school reunion and somebody's like, oh, well, you're not on Facebook. I guess we won't be able to hook up and hang out. It's like, well,
That's what a phone is for.
I have a phone, and if you really wanted to hang out,
But pictures, tell a great story.
tell them how
my
intriguing
friend's
and
moving to
interesting my life
Nashville.
is. Ugh.
My friend's moving to Nashville. We hugged goodbye this week, and I called her out. I was like, I know you're totally on Facebook because she likes things, but I'm like, you're going to have to post more so I can see what you're up to in Nashville now.
See, that is hilarious.
I wanna
So
see
she's
it.
have to
I wanna see it.
She has to post, right? I have a friend who moved to Memphis, and she is
she has.
epic about her posting, right?
Oh.
The
And-
big girl photos. It's like,
Oh my God.
Well,
She
I
had
did
to-
like when she'd come on trips with us because somehow or another, at the
a
end
good
of it,
takes
she documented the
150
entire
pictures.
thing. I don't even know how she did it. Yeah.
She's very great about documenting. So, anyways, love her to death. And look, she doesn't talk to any of our other girlfriends, and we're all probably just as close. But we talk on the phone because
Nice.
she knows I'm not looking at Facebook, and she wants to have a conversation with me. And then we actually catch up. I mean, she calls me on her like bike ride with her, phone posted. She looked like a crazy person, and she's like riding her bike, and I'm like talking to her, and then she's almost getting hit by a car. It's like I'd rather have that than like a little peek
Let's
into
get
somebody's
killed.
world. That's like
I know,
well,
but also I like when I bump into someone, I'm like, oh my gosh, you went to Big Bear, or oh, how was Disneyland? Like you know what they've been up to, and I'm interested to hear about it.
No, I
but
get
I
it.
wouldn't
I
have known
get it. No,
otherwise.
I mean,
because they're
I
not gonna
totally
text
get
me.
it. When I bump into someone, I go, "What have you been up to?" And then they can just fill in the blank. It's not like I'm like already privy to their life.
Well, this speaks to we are very different how we view things. That is for sure.
For sure.
Because I definitely got in social media because of my industry and having to sort of the monetization of it and clients and tracking what they
Yeah,
were
for
doing.
sure.
And then I became more active on it myself, and I did kind of similar to Virginia, did like to see, oh my gosh, their kid's gotten so old or so on and so forth. So, but we are all very different how we view most things in life, but somehow it blends together in a malleable way.
I think it's interesting too. Like, I think having kids also brought us a lot closer. Like, we're always checking on each other's kids and what are they doing.
And that we got a little out of order on because I waited. Rosie, you had your two sons before I had mine.
Oh, I was totally giving up hope on you. It was like, forget it. She's not gonna joke because you were like 40, weren't you?
No, my God, but close.
Liar! Oh my God!
No, I wasn't 40. I think I got.
I mean, her whole thing was like, it'll just happen when it happens. I'm like, well, that's not how it happens. So, I mean, most people have to like kind of put a little bit of thought.
Well, you have to be off birth control.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Put a little bit of focus
She
on
was
it.
just, and she was having way too much fun. I mean,
Yeah.
she was like traveling and
yeah.
had a thousand fun things going on, and her and Mark were super social. So I part of it's like, well, don't you want to ruin your life and have a child and be extremely bored and never be able to travel and like just go out to dinner at a fabulous restaurant on a whim without finding a babysitter and all the complications with the child? So, I mean, I totally got it, like why she wasn't having children just yet. But then I remember the day you told me you were pregnant. I was at the beach with my boys, which, you know, is...
Was I physically with you?
No, you
Oh,
called.
okay.
You called. So cell phones did exist at that point. So you called, and I was like, oh, Liz is calling. And so my sister-in-law, I'm like, Debbie, I'm going to take this call. So I go walk off, and you're like, oh my God, I don't understand how this happened. I'm like,
You're very
what?
fertile. Luckily, you were very fertile.
But then you're like, we were in Mexico. I totally remember you saying that you were in Mexico.
I don't know the exact conception date. Sorry, but
Well,
I think
at that time, I remember she said she was in Mexico and
Jet
she had a
skiing.
great time, and they stayed at some resort up in a mountain and blah, blah. Like, you know, Previ, this whole amazing vacation, you know, whereas like, all three of us sisters were like, we, you know, knew that the ovulation was happening.
Oh,
we
yeah.
were like
Peed on a stick.
in bed, you know.
There was a focused effort.
There was like, it was like a focus happened. She's like on some fabulous vacation. And she's like, I mean, I don't know. I'm pregnant. I mean, is that crazy? And I'm like, yeah, kind of. I was like, wow. And I was like, oh my God, I was so excited because finally she was pregnant. Like, I mean, I just like...
I had no biological clock. I don't know if anybody else...
No,
like,
she
there was never part of me that's like, I'm dying to have a child. My in-laws had an older couple that were friends, and they didn't have children, and we were at a brunch, and the woman had a couple of mimosas, and she turned to me, I just love you and Mark. You remind me of myself and my husband. I mean, you're never going to have children, and, you know, you're just going to be able to travel the world and have no obligations and so on and so forth. And it hit me like, you know, like someone 2x4 to my face. I was like, oh, wait a minute.
That's not actually what I was planning.
That's not actually what I was planning. And I do know, like, because having so many brothers and sisters, having 4 younger brothers and sisters, and really being involved in their lives growing up, I was like, no, I want the experience of being a mom. And holy crap, yeah, my biological clock has never gone off. So unless I start actually trying to make this happen, it may never happen. So yes, Mark says we pulled the goalie. We never knew exactly we never knew exactly when we got pregnant. But another one of my girlfriends, Heather, always said, like, no, we really talking behind your back. Like, were there issues or, you know, is there a problem?
Oh, God.
Because her and the girlfriends were all like, Mark and her have been married for 10 years. Are they never going to have a child? So, yeah, so we had Ethan.
Oh, you mean Mark's friends were talking about it?
Oh, yeah. Well,
Mark's
everybody was
wives'
talking
friends.
about, yeah, everybody, I guess, of
We
our
were
circle of friends.
I don't remember.
no, I think she was saying her friends.
Yeah,
were,
my
like,
circle of friends, yeah.
Her friends.
Really? Because like, if
Not
you look,
that they were
like your high school friends, because not most of them didn't have kids like that
Before
early.
me, no. Well, Heather did.
But Mark's friends, they had kids.
Oh my gosh, Mark's
early.
are all married and kids before me. It's like crazy.
Mark's friends' kids are going to be getting married. Like,
Yeah.
it's happening.
I know.
You know,
And we're still like with a
you're not even
teenager.
in high school. Yeah.
No, but which is kind of awesome, but it's just, you know, it's a very interesting choice to have kid a little later, but still look fabulous.
Ethan, what a perfect child for you. He didn't slow you up much. I mean, he rolled to the parties. He could stay up late. He could hang with adults. He was...
He's a character. Yeah. So and having one, and I mean, when I was younger, I thought I'd have like 4 children because we came from such a big family. And then for sure, I thought I'd have a sibling, but then that did not happen because by the time he was like 4 or 5, I looked at Mark and I just said,
I can't do it.
I don't want to do it
Yeah.
again. Plus, I broke my back in delivery.
Your tailbone.
My
You
tailbone.
cracked your tailbone. yeah.
Rosemary was like, oh my gosh, she's really powering through this. She's doing so great. Well,
I was like,
you
wow,
were
she's
just
like Superman. This is so amazing. I mean, I was like, but you did have an epidural, which
Yeah.
I did not. And I was like, I hate everyone.
you
but-
should hate everyone if you don't.
But
have
I
the
was like,
control.
so, wow, this is amazing. And then like a week later, I was like, I can't walk. I was
can't
like,
walk. I can't sit. What is wrong with me?
Aw.
But so it all turned out fine. But when they said, well, the next time you'll have to give birth standing up or have a C-section,
Oh,
I
God.
was like, okay, no rush. And then 5 years passed, and I was like, oh,
Can't do it again.
Forget it.
And then luckily, Ethan had the dynamic of already at that point Jack and Luke and Morgan. And so he had tons of cousins around him. And even like, Adam and Sarah. So he was surrounded by a lot of cousins.
Yeah.
Which is
Well,
great.
I mean,
And at that point, our oldest brother, who has 5 kids,
they were here for a while.
I feel like they were here.
Yeah. For a good chunk.
Yeah, for the Ethan era for a bit. Yeah. So that was great too. That was like,
No, they were here for that.
that was like that's why every week was like, oh my gosh, whose family birthday is this week? Whose family dinner? Who's
Yeah,
this?
there was a
that?
lot
Oh my
of-
gosh. And we used to have Sunday dinners pre-COVID once a month.
Once a month. Yeah.
We were just talking about that the other day. Surprisingly, something that seemed like the boys were always like acting like it was torture. Both of them the other night were like, I really miss Grandma's chicken dinner. And something about a soup she made. I was like, you like the soup? Wow.
Turkey.
Yeah. I was
The
like,
Turk moms left.
which I'm always like, I'm good. I don't
How old
know.
was that?
So I host Thanksgiving. We'll get into that in another episode about holidays. But I host Thanksgiving, and Mom usually takes the turkey carcasses.
Oh, yeah. She wants those bones.
She wants those bones to make soup. But then my husband, it was probably, if that was November, it was like February. Mom goes, oh, please come over for turkey soup. And
Which is a good time of year to have soup.
February.
But
Mark
how
was like,
old is that
are
turkey?
these derivative of our turkeys?
It's
Yeah.
been frozen.
It was
You're like,
frozen, but Mark was like, and then she, of course,
Yeah, I
put it in
give Mom-
styrofoam
but it's been
bowls.
cooked and then frozen.
It was like then the hottest soup ever put into a styrofoam bowl. That was like
no.
flaky
Oh my
to
God.
hold itself
Totally
together.
Melted the bowl. I remember that.
So, we'll get into our mom's dinner and growing up in that way, because that was just, family dinners were a whole, from childhood on, have always been a very interesting, event, basically.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for
'cause-
sure.
So I think, this has been an awesome first episode of our sisters, kind of explain who we all are and our dynamics with the
Yeah,
K.
and I think, the plan is to have you two back
all the time.
all the time. So get ready. And, each time we'll talk about something different, either something that's going on with us or some other historical deep dive into whatever. So what it's been like to be sisters all these years.
So thanks for joining us, Rosemary and Virginia, a.k.a. Gigi, for an episode of Family Dynamics.